Let's move on further. Do you have any other questions? Russia Today, please. Good afternoon, Madam Zakharova. Red Balkan. We have 2 questions to you today. Can you share the latest on the sale of the Russian share of to the oil industry of Serbia, and why Russia decided to sell its share to the company? Was it the decision a kind of satisfaction of Serbia's claims, which wanted to have functional oil company, including oil processing plant, although the Russian owner had a chance to stay in the country and because of the American sanctions and preserve its property before the situation with sanctions is resolved? Let me mention that in our country, all these talks concerning the oil company in Serbia are being headed by the Minister of Energy. So if you let me, I will address this question to the Ministry of Energy, and we can ask for a comment for you of this ministry, because this is their scope of competence. And we will do whatever we can in order to provide you an answer. And thank you. And the second question, how can you comment the statement of the Defense Minister of France shortly before his visit to Zagreb that the combat aircraft Rafale was sold to Serbia and to Croatia due to strategic interest of the EU and NATO to progressively liberate Serbia from dependence from Russia and strengthen its ties with the Western countries? What dependence is truly detrimental to Serbia, and why strategic interest of the EU and NATO, and they prioritize the deterioration of relations between Serbia and Russia? There's nothing awkward to me, and throughout many years Serbia was compelled to disrupt mutually beneficial historic ties with Russia. The Western countries tried to drive a wedge into the Russia-Serbia relations in order to subjugate Belgrade to the interests of EU and NATO. But unfortunately, this all goes for the detriment of Serbia in order to make this country a kind of an obedient structure that follows the instructions of all the others, to strip off its self-identity, to make its voice weaker, to blur the cultural identity of Serbia, to impose some alien will and values. And along with that, the Western elite tries to purge from presence the traditional presence of Russia in the region, so that we cannot be presented there. So if we see the projects, we have a look at the projects, and we've already mentioned in your previous question about our exclusive focus on making this project prosperous one, I mean the oil project. If we have a look at other projects, they are not even pragmatic and beneficial. They're aiming to strengthen Serbia's prosperity, to strengthen cultural and humanitarian aspect of this country. In general, this is a beneficial policy for the benefit of Serbia and its nation. And in terms of the Western ideology, Serbia should be stripped of these benefits. The Western countries just seek their own agenda. It's a detrimental and awkward practice. Undermining of the Russia-Serbia political and trade and economic ties is the overall objective, strategic objective of NATO and the EU to oust all third, as they claim it, countries from the Balkan region, both Russia, China, and Turkey, so that no one was present there. And their purpose is crystal clear, so that Serbia be dissolved, be dependent, so that Serbia be dependent on Brussels. Thomas Mann has a novel, Loyal Subjugates. Subjects. It's like loyalty, a kind of loyalty. No other independence or equal role is not seen by Brussels to Serbia. They just want to absorb and subjugate and to impose its will on other states. And I refer to Serbia right now. If there is no communication, normal communication in terms of financial, humanitarian ties with Russia leads to the collapse of their countries. They cannot do anything because they are tied with some obligations under the pretext of some collective auspices. In fact, they are being guided by bureaucracy imposed by the figures such as Ursula von der Leyen, Josep Borrell, and others. So the Europeans believe that this should have stripped Serbia of political sovereignty. And I believe that Serbia, being a freedom-loving, independent nation which sacrificed many lives and hardships, will stand strong, not because it's beneficial to Russia, China, or anyone else. It's because Serbs believe that they should take their own path of development. Thank you very much. Is Izvestia with us? Yes, good afternoon, Madam Zakharova. Meets Izvestia. We have two questions concerning that Ursula von der Leyen called Russia to show interest on